Hi there, thank you for joining me. Today I'll be sharing this tender and flaky turkey and cheese buttermilk biscuit recipe. You can enjoy it on its own or as a side with the main dish. Hope you enjoy this tutorial. If this is your first time on my channel, my goal is to share really easy, delicious recipes that you can recreate at home for your friends and family. So now let's get started. So I'll start off by adding my flour and salt to the food processor. And then I'll add my baking powder, my sugar, and baking soda. So cover your food processor and pulse until all the dry ingredients are well combined. Next, you want to add your very cold butter. So here I brought it out straight out of the fridge. And then you want to pulse that as well in your food processor until it looks like coarse sand. So remember, you want to keep all your ingredients and tools as cool as possible. The cold butter is what will make your pastry puff up once you start baking it. So you can see here that my dry mixture looks like coarse sand already. Now it's time to pour it into a bowl, and then to pour in the turkey and the cheese. So here I've cut up my sliced turkey into smaller bits. And next I'm going to pour in my shredded cheese. Here again, make sure everything is super cold. You do not want to melt the butter, just so you can get the maximum flakiness and puffiness from your buttermilk biscuit. So toss all the ingredients together until they're very well combined or very well incorporated, and then add your cold buttermilk. Now with the buttermilk, you can either use store-bought buttermilk or you can make it at home by yourself. So for instructions on how to make your buttermilk, check the description box below. So you want to mix this thoroughly. I'm trying to make sure I mix it in the bowl as much as possible to avoid using my hands for the least amount of time possible, just so that that butter stays cold and doesn't melt. So now it's getting a little tougher to mix, and I'm going to have to scrape off the sticky dough from my spatula and then fold my dough on a floured surface. So here I'm flouring my surface, and then I'm going to turn my dough onto the floured surface. So here we do not really want to knead this dough. What we want to do is fold it gently until all the ingredients are well combined. So quarter turns, pat it down, and then try to fold. So here you go. So fold it, pat down, and then fold. And then fold. There we go. And then another quarter turn, and then you pat down and then fold. So you keep folding until all your ingredients are very well incorporated. Do not overmix or overfold the dough so it doesn't get tough. So only do this for as long as you need to. And if your surface is sticky, add a little flour so you can move that dough around. So now the other thing about this recipe is you can use it as is without adding the turkey and cheese, and you'll still get really, really nice and flaky buttermilk biscuits. So by all means, try it by itself. Sub out the turkey for a ham or any other deli meat, or sub out the shredded cheddar cheese with a different kind of shredded cheese, so whatever works for you. So next you want to heat the surface of your dough with your rolling pin until it is flattened, until it's evenly flattened. So this method of flattening your dough helps to reduce the formation of gluten, so that also helps to ensure that your biscuits are not too tough. Flour your dough as needed so it doesn't stick to the rolling pin. Also flour your surface as required. So keep doing this until it's flat, and then you can start rolling out with your rolling pin. So here I'm adding a little more flour and then shaping it into a rectangle. What kind of a rectangle? So you flour your rolling pin and then heat a little more. So I'm going for about 1.5 inches or about 1 inch in thickness. So once I get it to a good thickness, I will start rolling out the dough, but I won't roll it for too long. So here again, flour the surface. Now it's time to roll the dough. So just roll it to the thickness that you like. I like it at about 1 inch thick or about 1.5 inches. You can decide how thick you would like it. You know, so it depends on what works for you. So here again, make sure that your dough is not sticking to your surface. If it is, add a little flour to your surface and make sure it can move around. There we go. So just keep rolling until you get to the thickness that you like. So next I'll be cutting my buttermilk biscuit into squares. You can cut them into circles using a cookie cutter or into whatever shape you like. So I'm going to go down and cut 4 columns, and then I'll cut across until I get the number of biscuits I want. So this batch makes about 20 to 24 biscuits. So if you don't need that many, you can always half the recipe. Next, I'll arrange the buttermilk biscuits on a parchment-lined pan and then chill in the fridge for about 30 minutes. So bring them out of the fridge and then brush them with some cold buttermilk. So this will help your tea biscuits brown in the oven, and it will also keep the tops tender so they're not too crusty at the top. Next, bake the buttermilk biscuits in the oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes and then reduce to 350 degrees for the last 10 minutes. So this will give you really flaky, beautiful golden buttermilk biscuits that you can enjoy at home, or you can give out as gifts to your friends and families. So you can have these for breakfast, or you can have them as a side for lunch. And here I'm going to break one open so you can see how flaky it is on the inside and cheesy as well. So that's really, really delicious. That's a really delicious buttermilk biscuit. So I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please share this with your friends and family. Leave a comment below, and if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. Hope to see you next time. Take care now.